Good afternoon, everyone at the Australian Workplace Mental Health Conference. My name is Fionn Gibbons and I specialise in organisational behaviour. I'm pleased to be here today to discuss an increasingly critical issue within remote and resource-based industries: burnout among FIFO, fly-in, fly-out workers. FIFO arrangements are common in sectors such as mining, oil and gas, construction, and infrastructure development. These workers typically alternate between working in isolated, high-demand environments for extended shifts and returning home for rest periods. While financially rewarding and operationally essential, this model presents distinct psychological and social stresses. For today's presentation, I will focus specifically on FIFO workers in the mining sector, one of the most well-documented and high-risk subgroups for occupational burnout. Burnout is an escalating concern within remote and resource-intensive sectors of the Australian economy. Among those most affected are fly-in, fly-out workers, particularly in the mining industry, who endure extended periods of isolation, long working hours, and high job demands. These arrangements, though operationally critical and financially rewarding, come at a psychological and social cost. This essay explores the nature of burnout among FIFO mining workers, drawing upon relevant psychological theories and empirical research. It also presents targeted, evidence-based organisational strategies for burnout prevention and workforce sustainability. Burnout is a chronic psychological condition resulting from prolonged exposure to occupational stresses without adequate recovery. Burnout comprises three key components. These are emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, and reduced personal accomplishment. Emotional exhaustion involves the depletion of emotional and physical energy, frequently observed in FIFO mining workers due to long rosters, harsh physical conditions, and minimal rest periods. FIFO miners reported high levels of fatigue and sleep disruption, directly contributing to this dimension of burnout. Depersonalization, or cynicism, is the psychological distancing from work, often manifested as a negative or indifferent attitude towards one's job or colleagues. FIFO miners frequently report feeling disconnected from management and devalued, as if they are just a number. Reduced personal accomplishment reflects feelings of underachievement even when job performance is objectively adequate. In FIFO settings, lack of career development opportunities and insufficient feedback often contribute to this aspect. The consequences of burnout extend beyond individual suffering. On a personal level, it increases the risk of mental health issues such as depression and anxiety conditions that affect up to 30% of FIFO miners. Social isolation, strained family relationships, and substance misuse further compound these effects. Organizationally, burnout correlates with higher turnover, decreased productivity, and increased risk of workplace incidents. Burnout in the FIFO mining workforce emerges from a complex interplay of organizational, environmental, and individual level stresses. The structure of FIFO rosters, normally being 2 weeks on, 1 week off, involving extended periods of intense work, contributes significantly to emotional exhaustion, and inadequate recovery between shifts exacerbates fatigue. Additionally, limited job control and poor role clarity increase feelings of helplessness and disengagement. A perceived lack of managerial support, which is often due to remote or infrequent contact, heightens feelings of isolation and devaluation. Remote work camps typically offer limited recreational facilities, minimal privacy, and few opportunities for social connection. The combination of environmental harshness, for example, extreme weather, noise, and geographic isolation, intensifies psychological strain. Poor camp conditions can also significantly lower morale and raise burnout risk. Additionally, being away from family or for extended periods contributes to loneliness and emotional strain. Personality traits and coping styles also impact burnout risk. Individuals high in neuroticism or those with avoidant coping tendencies are more vulnerable. Workers with pre existing mental health issues tend to experience more rapid and severe burnout symptoms. Two theoretical frameworks offer valuable insight into why burnout is particularly prevalent in FIFO contexts. Job demands resources model posts that burnout arises when job demands exceed the available job resources. In FIFO mining, demands such as long shifts, hazardous conditions, and social isolation are not matched by sufficient resources like autonomy, feedback, or psychological support. This imbalance results in the emotional and cognitive depletion characteristic of burnout. Conservation of resources theory. Burnout occurs when individuals experience a loss of key resources, such as time, emotional energy, or social support without adequate recovery. The FIFO lifestyle, which is often deprives workers of connection, rest, and autonomy, presents a perfect storm of resource depletion. The cultural pressure to remain stoic within such environments only worsens the problem. Organizational strategies to reduce burnout. Addressing burnout in FIFO workforces requires proactive, systemic interventions drawing upon the job demands and resources and conservation of resources models. The following strategies are recommended. Firstly, redesign rosters to support recovery. Long rosters without adequate recovery are a primary source of emotional exhaustion. Shifting to more balanced schedules, for example 8 to 6 or 14 to 14, and limiting consecutive night shifts can significantly improve sleep and reduce fatigue. These changes help workers replenish depleted resources and maintain emotional stability. Secondly, invest in on-site psychological services and peer support. On-site mental health professionals and peer-led programs provide essential emotional and social resources. FIFO sites with embedded psychological support experience reduced distress and greater help-seeking behavior. Supervisor and peer support have also been linked to improved job satisfaction and reduced cynicism, improve camp living conditions, and promote recovery activities. Upgrading living conditions like privacy, comfort, and access to leisure and providing meaningful off-duty activities are crucial for mental restoration. These improvements, supported by the effort recovery theory, foster a more supportive environment and enhance emotional resilience. Lastly, train supervisors in supportive leadership. Supportive and mentally health literate supervision is a powerful buffer against burnout. Training leaders to recognize distress and maintain regular check-ins helps build psychological safety and trust. Supervisory support has been consistently associated with lower levels of burnout and higher workforce engagement. Burnout among FIFO mining workers is not merely a personal issue. It is a pressing organizational and public health challenge rooted in extended rosters, harsh environments, and limited support. It comprises not only individual well-being, but also workplace safety and productivity. The job demands and resources and conservation of resources theories illuminate how the imbalance between demands and resources fuels burnout in this context. Effective prevention requires organizations to move beyond individual focused interventions and invest in systemic change, optimizing rosters, enhancing camp environments, embedding mental health services, and cultivating supportive leadership. Ultimately, FIFO miners contribute significantly to Australia's economic infrastructure. It is imperative that organisations reciprocate this commitment by fostering conditions that protect their physical, emotional, and psychological well-being. Please see the references. Thank you for listening.